It's been a wonderful afternoon here at the Estates of Mine. This is Ron, the co-host of the Ron John Podcast, and my co-host,
And I'm John, and once again, this is Real Talk Eastern Shore.
man, what a beautiful Thanksgiving I had. Um, Turkey drunk, food drunk, sleep drunk, massive drunk, woke up at 6:30 drunk. No alcohol, but terrible ways. How about yourself?
It was good. I ended up taking my daughter to my mom's house for Thanksgiving dinner. My son stayed home because he was being a little turd.
That's how most kids are.
No, but worse turds. I mean, damage to property turd.
Oh, man, that's not good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not good at all.
Yeah, and he thought his blinds in his room, half of them are gone now,
Wow.
and other stuff. But just playing in the bathroom, coloring.
On the wall?
Not on the wall. They sell these
Ooh.
little bath tablets that change the color of the water for kids to play in.
Yeah.
Well, he decided to take one and all over the sink. And yeah,
Did you have to clean it, or she have to clean it?
it was he.
Oh, you made him clean it.
No.
Well, that's why I was asking. Like, who cleaned it? You?
My girl cleaned it.
Oh, you.
But that was done after. I mean, once we saw that, I grabbed my daughter and we just went to my mom's house and had Thanksgiving dinner there.
Gotcha.
He stayed home as punishment.
Oh wow. That's
I know
like,
someone's gonna say, "Oh, you didn't take them." Yeah, you know what? Actions have repercussions.
that is true. We're in a society now that when kids do wrong, we don't punish them. I feel the correct way. We more have to give them a 5 minute timeout and then it's done. Sometimes what is that? What's that old saying? Is spare the rod, spoil the child. You know,
Mm.
doesn't mean you beat them. But
No,
I'm
no,
just
no, no,
saying,
no,
you
no,
know
no.
what I'm saying. Like
No,
that's
we're past those times.
yeah, we're past those times. But I'm just saying, because I remember being smacked in the head with a cast iron pan, quickly, pow, like, oh, yeah, and I learned quickly, man. I don't know if I told this story. I don't think I did. Did I ever tell the story about me running away from my dad and him catching up to me?
No,
No,
you
no.
didn't.
Okay, you gotta remember, man. My short-term memory and long-term memory is all messed up. So I don't know. I might have been 12, 13 years old, maybe 11. I did something in the house. I can't remember what I did, and I was getting punished. And he was like, you go outside and you pick that stick, and I'm gonna beat you with it. Oh, okay. Well, me being a little smartass I am, I go get this maybe 7 inch long stick, maybe a quarter-inch wide. Okay, so I gave it to Dad real quick. He said, I'll never forget. He was like, "I'm gonna beat your ass." He took the belt off. So I run from my house, go all the way down to the neighbor's house, run around. It's a trailer. Run around the trailer 3 or 4 times. Now back then I could run a little bit. I was still fat, but I still ran. He's chasing me. Wow, wow, wow. Run, run. So we keep going. I decide, okay, now it's time to go back home. Let me go in the backyard. I'll just run around the house a couple more times and go back to the next neighbor and everything. So, like, I'm running, I'm going, and I don't know what I was thinking. I really don't. So, like, I kept on going, old man can't run, old man can't run. Oh, I kept on saying that. So he's getting more mad
So
about
you
a
were
minute.
taunting your
Oh, I
dad.
was throwing my dad. I was brutal. And so I'm running, and I go in the backyard. So back then, we used to build forts. We used to have it was sheets and bricks and metal and all kinds of stuff. We built like forts, and we'd have like rooms in it, and that's what we did because we didn't have nothing. We were middle of the country, there was nothing there.
Mhm.
So I'm running, I'm going, I'm still running fast as I can, man. I probably got, I don't know, it's gotta be about 8 car lengths maybe away. So you figure what 8 car lengths is what about 100 foot, probably.
Roughly. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
running, I don't know what I was thinking. I'm still running to him. I turn around, got my head facing towards him. I'm running forward still, thinking nothing about this. I don't know what I was doing. Run as hard as I can. Run, 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 run. Man, for some ungodly reason, some told me to turn. I turned, and this sport was literally a foot away. I'm at a dead sprint, a foot away. Man, I hit concrete blocks, the metal, the blanket. Man, I was like, oh, I remember I was just hollering because I was like all in pain because like my leg hit the concrete block, like it flinged over into the metal. Now I'm wrapped up into like this little blanket trying to get out. Man, my dad wore my ass out, like literally wore me out to the point that I remember I was in tears. I
Mm.
literally was crying. I was like, "You can't do that, smile." Yes, I can. Bow, bow. Just come on, hit me. The moral of the story is, I don't care how far and how fast and how ignorant you are, you're never going to outplay your dad or your mom. Literally.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I literally learned. I remember when I was like, a little bit older. I said a cuss word to my mom. Smack.
Oh yeah.
Quick, no questions. I thought it was big and bad. Oh yeah, I learned these new words. Because back then, like, you didn't really learn the cuss words until later on in life. This time of age, they learn it young. Back in the time, like, you learned the cuss words like when you were in school,
Mm-hmm.
and you would be like, "Oh, that's a new cuss word. Let's use this cuss word. Let's use this pronoun or what adjective, whatever you want to call it." And like I remember using it, and man, smack, just like that. Man, I took a lot of whippings, man. I really did, man. I was a bad kid. You know what I mean? But I mean, overall, I think back to it. I learned a lot from it. I took my whippings and go on. It made me, I guess you say, a better person.
Mm-hmm.
I knew not to mess with my mom and dad, and I respected my elders.
Yeah.
That's the big thing. Sometimes, I didn't want to, but at the same time, I'm kind of like, yeah, well, I've been through this before. I don't want to get beat anymore. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
You
but
learned.
yes, I learned real quickly. So, getting into like Turkey Day was great. So, I did drop something about we were going to talk about something today.
Right. Right.
We didn't get into deep details. With that being said, you had put me on to something on I think it was Monday morning.
Yeah.
Um,
On
and
Facebook.
on Facebook
Right.
that you saw, which was someone trying to have someone out there, I guess, reach out, as in probably better terms of their agony inside and their pain inside, and the fact that they just did not want to go any farther with life. Um, and that's sad to see that on Facebook. That
Mm-hmm.
really is. I don't know that person per se. Um, and to see that from a person as a stranger and seeing someone going through so much agony because like we don't know what each other's struggles are no matter what we talk about there's always another struggle like I'm learning I got like really high anxiety now like anything I do I magnify 100 times worse so like if I you know put together a gun like these
Nerf, toy
nerf
guns, Nerf
guns
guns. Yeah.
yes it's not how anybody tell me different. Looking right at it, it's blue and orange. We'll take a picture of it if you want. If I put it together, I'm more worried about if I put it together right, and if the coil or like the spring in there will shoot out of it. Like, back in the time I had no cares. Now I do. I care about
Mm-hmm.
just about anything and everything. I mean, do you have them issues at all, or
Yeah.
I didn't know
I'm
if I
a-
was the only one.
no, I'm always thinking. Well, after fixing something or building something, I'm like, why am I missing this screw?
Yeah.
Or like, why are these extra screws here? Did I miss a spot? I'm like, well, let me try it out.
Yeah, like that's the worst part because like in your mental, like there's so much you fight. Like I mean, you go through everyday life. You got to eat, sleep, drink, repeat. You know what I mean? Drink mean water. It's part of and work as well.
Mm-hmm.
And you would think that your body would be so conditioned to it. Like it wouldn't be like, oh my God, what'd you do wrong? Did you do this? Did you do that? Did you do this? Or like classic example, I drove down the road and forgot my 30-minute ride completely, and I'm like did I do anything? I go out in the front of my truck and back of the truck, make sure I didn't hit nothing. Like it's scary that the older you get, this stuff happens on a regular basis. And the subject, the person we're talking about, we're not, it's sad to see somebody, no matter what kind of conditions they're in, that they literally had to, resort to Facebook before someone got them help. We all have to be very open and honest about things, about how our conditions are mentally,
Hmm.
because I think really this pandemic, and I could be wrong, but I think the pandemic put a lot of strain on a lot of people, mentally, financially. I also feel physically because a lot of people, oh, well, you can go, exercise, but all the gyms were closed pretty much.
Yeah,
I mean, you
they
couldn't do
were.
nothing. Like, it makes you wonder, like, we're still going through this COVID stuff, and now we have no limitations. Like, you can go out. Yeah, if you get sick, you're sent home for 5 days and whatever, and you got to wear masks. I think 5 days afterwards. But like, was it because we didn't know what it was, or was it, what was that? You know what I mean? Like, have you ever thought about that?
No.
Well, you just made that conversation short.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
that's what
So
I
thank
do.
you do it really great. I just want to let you know you're great. I
I'm
just
short and to the
mm,
point.
yeah, to the point. Well, I mean, I think it makes you wonder seriously, like, what was the condition of us making us stay in the house on a regular basis, making us, can't go anywhere. If you didn't have, I think was it a pass that you had to have to ride out?
If you were a
Essential worker.
essential worker,
Yes.
that's right.
Yeah, because I had to get one. I was like, if someone's going to stop me, you know what? They're going to stop me anyway. And I was like, I'm not going to drive crazy. I remember one day, I can't remember what day it was, but I remember one day going out, going to work. My normal travel is down Route 1, go through Dover, go to Route 1, go south, turn into Milford. The one travel I had, I'll never forget because there was nobody on the road. And I mean, I might have passed four cars going the opposite way on Route 1. That never happens.
Yeah.
And like, I'm sitting there going, what the hell? You know what I mean? I'm just looking around like, I mean, it's beautiful out there because you're on your own. You're pretty much out by yourself doing a Sunday drive. But like, it's crazy. And that's the thing. Like, anybody with like any kind of, illness, they call it mental illness. I kind of iffy on that. Like, I think that's like maybe a bad term to use per se. It could be used differently because like when you're doing and you're thinking about ending your life, I don't find that as an illness. I find that as better terminology is probably like you just help. Like, I mean, an illness to me is something that makes you sick. Sick is, people. I use it as a health, which mental health is the same
Hmm.
thing. But I use it like physically, like when you get sick and stuff like that.
Hmm.
That's illness to me. Um, but to use it in the terminology of mental illness, I just feel it's like there's something else. Like, what is there to change someone from, having this illness or whatever you want to call it to make them better? Because I don't know what can make that better. That's the thing.
Well, I don't know either, but I know that I think it all depends on the person's age.
Hmm.
I know it sounds weird, but for us, we were brought up,
Hmm.
you don't ask for help,
Hmm.
and that's the problem. We were taught not to ask for help.
That's true. That is very true.
And at least I know the younger generation, they're told that it's okay to ask for help if they have any issues.
But sometimes that help is a little bit ridiculous.
Well, the help can be depending
You know what I
on
mean?
what you do for the help
You know,
or who you're
which
going to.
which is true. Which is true. But I find a lot of stuff that people ask for help as being the younger generation is a little bit outlandish
Well, yeah,
sometimes.
but I'm not talking about
I
can I
mean,
have money for this? Oh, I'm gonna do this.
well, I mean that's also like the population of the homeless. Like they're all over the place, Melford. And I seen a couple the other day, and like they just came back, and I'm
Hmm.
like, I thought you were out. Well, it just didn't work out. Like, and I'm thinking to myself, you have all opportunities to get healthier. You choose not to. I don't understand why. Like, I don't understand mentally what tells you not to do this. What tells you to say, they're helping me. I need to help myself because no one's going to give you 100% help.
Hmm.
Because if you expect 100% help,
You're not going to
it's
do
not going to
anything
get
for yourself.
exactly. So when that 100% health is taken away, you're back to where you were.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? So I just don't grasp it. I just don't grasp it. And it's sad. Like, the stuff that, I see on a regular basis. Just at my work, right behind my work, literally. And, like we were talking about, this person. Um, and like I said, we're not saying no names. I'm not
Right.
saying no
Yeah.
more about that. But what we're going to say is, don't wait till the last minute. Don't wait till you can't take it no more. You know, reach out. Reach out to whoever you want to, whenever you want to, however you want to. I mean, shoot, you can send us a message. We don't care. Because, I mean, we've all been through some stuff. And, I mean, I'm pretty sure we can relate to some of the stuff that you relate to. I mean, kind of saw, some of the stuff that, the person was talking about. And I can relate a little bit. I can definitely do.
Hmm.
And, we want to put that out there. If anybody knows someone that needs any help, I mean, they can contact us. It's pretty much private. We're not going to put your business out like that. You know, um, just keep that in mind. You know, at the end of the day, that we're not here to be your professional help, but we're here to help. That's probably the best terminology I can use there. Um, with that being said, um, we'll go to the next level on that, not as what we were doing. Um, but it's been an interesting go. Like, I do gotta ask you. I mean, you are a soccer fan, correct?
No.
No, I thought you were. You
Just
play
because I'm from
soccer.
Peru, just because I'm Latino, it doesn't mean I'm a soccer
Are you
fan.
calling me stereotyping?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was. Anyway, no, I was looking the other day. I think it was today.
I know how to play it.
Oh well, I listen. You run, you kick a ball. Okay, put it in the goal. So I'm sitting there looking today, and I'm noticing, like, don't get me wrong, the world does not revolve around the United States. Okay, let's be honest with each other, honest to God. But I noticed the United States is playing at 2 p.m. on a Tuesday. So, like, people are all about, like, when the United States goes into the soccer, into like the World Cup, like, new fans come out of nowhere, and then when they're out of the World Cup, they go back to where they were. And I'm thinking to myself, I was like, I don't think they're going to get good ratings on that on the TV. Like, for real. Like, I had to laugh about it because, like, I was like, man, that's crazy. Why would people even do that stuff? You know what I mean? Like, why would you, why would you think people are going to take off? And there's going to be some people take off, literally for that. Just normal stuff. And I was just like, I don't know. It just boggled my mind right then and there. Just maybe it's something. Just I
No,
don't know.
that's because your mind is thinking, who in the U.S. is going to watch soccer when the rest of the world is watching it?
Yeah, well, yeah, pretty much because usually the United States have their own little thing most of the time.
Yeah.
They got the football on Sunday. Technically that is football, I do believe, across the other lands, right?
What?
Soccer.
Soccer's
Yeah,
football.
football,
Football.
football, football, soccer.
American football is hand grab. No, I'm
Yeah.
just kidding.
Well, I mean, whoo, I got you. So I mean, yeah, I mean, and I like American football. I like soccer too. I got more into it. It's like golf. We need to go golfing here soon.
Yeah, we do.
We've been it's been a hot minute. Like, I was sitting there thinking about it the other day. I was like, I came out the back porch. I'm like, I like going on that 18 hole back here, but I don't think I want to go. I get kind of lazy. I'm just like, no matter what. Um,
Well, we thought the three part course was too long as it was.
well, we had to walk.
Yeah.
Like, I don't like walking. Who wants to walk all the time? Like, show us some love. Like, say, here you go, buddy. You know what I mean? So, I mean, that's another thing. With golfing, like, you have to walk a lot if you're on a par three.
Hmm.
If you're on a par five or like four, whatever, like that, like on a big course,
Hmm.
you can use one of them golf carts.
Oh.
You know what I mean? But I think they should do is something interesting. So what they should do, I think, for rentals for the golf cart, they should put an engine in it, a big engine, and then they should have sprint derbies down the road, like, and bring everyone here. You know what I mean? I think that would be interesting. You know what I mean? Don't you?
No.
No. Oh
No.
my God. Oh,
Because that, I mean, are you talking about doing a sprint derby on the golf course?
No, because it tears up the golf course.
Exactly.
Then what good are you doing?
Well,
You're wasting money for nothing.
then what are you talking about? Where are you going to do a sprint derby in the middle of the road?
Well, they got a parking lot, and you get down there, you have to go down this road a little bit. So I mean, it's not going to kill them. You know what I mean? All that road's doing is making people go up there and going back. I mean, do something with it. Do you know how many homeless? How many homes out here that we ride by on a regular basis that are probably no one lives in and just sits there? Do something with it.
Yeah, we know. I heard your story about you throwing rocks at empty houses in the past.
Well, there was a difference. That wasn't a house. That was a store.
Oh, okay,
You know,
that's
it was
better.
actually it was a green store, matter of fact, right by the railroad tracks. Because I mean, we used to try to run up, and we used to hit the train with stones, like these big, I don't know, they're probably like a softball sized stone, and you know, you just throw it on there, and to be honest with you, like we ramaged through some trains that were sitting there before. Yeah, I was really young. I don't know. Maybe I was 2. I don't know. I was a little whippersnapper, as they would call it. But yeah, we did some stuff with trains, and we figured that the green store was more fun. You know what I mean? It was more, more like glass shattering instance where your adrenaline runs, but at the idiot time we're sitting there doing it in the broad daylight. So we just, we might as well just been waving at everybody and say, hey, but this is my name. And just keep it moving.
Just write your name under the window.
Yeah, might as well. Well, it's just like when it was snowing. Like, so we had certain areas that we would hide out in the town, and we could throw snowballs at cars. So, not all the time I was allowed out because I got grounded on a regular basis. So one day, I remember hearing about one guy. I won't say his name. He was with 2 other of my friends, and there used to be this ditch that was at this corner, and it was a stop sign. And then to get out of town, you're still going 25. Then you accelerate once you get past the ditch. So I guess one time they were down in this ditch, and I mean this ditch is probably like 15 foot down, but there was this little ledge that you could stand on that would make it about 6 foot down. Or 5 foot down, just enough that you could throw if you had to. So one day, this car went by, and I guess their back window was open. Moral of the story is, not the moral of the story, just what happened was there was a child in a little seat on the opposite side. Well, my boy threw it through the window, hit the kid, literally. That's from my understanding. The car stops. Well, the ditch is a long ditch. You can run down that ditch. You can go probably like 4 or 5 miles, and there's hardly any, water in it, so it made it easier. Well, needless to say, 2 of them made it out before they got caught. The other one didn't make it out. Didn't go well for him at all. Like, he got in big trouble, big trouble. Yeah, that was not good. It's being older now, I'm kind of like, that was dumb as shit. We did we lived in a town that was 110 people. There was no one that lived there really, and it was only like 6, 7 kids. So we either play basketball, cause massive hysteria, act like fools, or we go to another town, walk up the train tracks an hour north or hours south, and cause massive chaos. I mean, I remember going to a pool hall. We walked right in, and the first thing you hear is, oh, that's them boys from down south. Because we were like 15, 14 then. We started walking up north. And there used to be a little burger place that we would walk to first. There was this one place, it was, what was the place called? I can't remember. It was like an arcade and pool. And then sometimes we walked to the burger place. And I want to say they were either 3 for $1.25 or 4 for $1. Like, hamburgers were on point, dude. Like, I'm 14.50. I'm taking $1. Think I'm rich as hell. Getting like 4. I'm like, eating. And he had a hell of a milkshake. The milkshake was like the old style. So like it's so thick, like you literally could throw it against the wall and it'd probably just slowly slide down. You know what I mean? Good stuff. But yeah, we caused some issues when we were younger, and not saying we were the best of kids. But I'm not saying we're the worst of kids, No one,
No
one aspired.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think we're all still well, not all. Well, not all of us, but most of us are still going, which is unfortunate at the same time. But we learned a lot of lessons of life. Don't be so fucking stupid. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I can't say much either. That I mean, that was pretty dangerous,
Oh yeah, it was some dumb
and,
stuff we used to do.
and to hit a kid, ooh,
Mm.
that was just unlucky.
Well, the worst part is we used to try to jump the train, get on the train while I was driving, riding. So we'd run hard as we could. Um, we try to grab hold of the train as it comes through. Didn't work, never worked because we were just too slow. And then every once in a while, the train would park down, maybe a couple miles down the train tracks. Oh, guess what we're gonna do? We're gonna go down here and run on top of the train. You know what I mean? We'd run on top of the train. We so funny story. Did you know that some of the cars that are on the trains, that some trains have like cars
Hmm.
where they have in it,
Yeah.
they do start. I'm not gonna say how I know. I'm just gonna say they do start while they're in there. Can't move it, but they do start. I'm just giving you a heads up.
Hmm.
So we're just gonna put it out there. Do not let your kids do this. It can get you in big trouble. And I think I'm out of the what is that called? Prosecution time with that. So um yeah, we did some dumb stuff. But no one got hurt really. Snow time, we go on back roads with a tire or like a car hood and sled down the road. I remember one time I was on a tire and we were maybe 8 9 miles out of town and we're like towards the Maryland line.
Hmm.
So we're like towards Birdsville
Okay.
in that area. And I remember, so I was facing away from the vehicle and they're towing. It was a car hood. I want to say 3 car tires, and it's nothing but ice and snow and everything. We're riding, and I guess how I was positioned on the tire, I didn't realize that the rope on it would break if it was going against like the ice or anything. Man, we're riding. We might have been going 30 miles an hour, maybe 35. I'm comfortable, relaxed, like a fat kid in a candy store, happy as hell. Next thing you know, the rope broke, flipped me, pow, face down, right into the ice. Man, I was, listen, I was hurt. Like it hurt I think it hurt my feelings more than it hurt anything. And I was just like, I'm done, I'm getting in the truck. And got in the back of the truck and we're riding down icy roads. Like some of the stuff that I do, I think about it, I'm like, what an idiot I was. Some of these kids will never experience that. You know what I mean? Idiotic things that you do. And like that's just one. Or like, we're going. I remember one time it was 1 o'clock in the morning. We were riding. I forget. I think it was in my truck at that point. I was in a friend's truck, and we were. I want to say behind the other friend's truck, and he had a car hood he was sledding on. Well, sledding with. Went around a turn. That truck went right into the ditch. There was so much snow, it piled right on top of the damn truck. There was hardly any truck left. The car hood just went right in the field, and you see one dude just launching. Like, I'm like, oh my God. Like, some of the stuff, like I said, some of the stuff that we did back in the day, like, you're not going to get away with now. Because, like, people, like, people, I would not say allowed us to be young, per se, but it wasn't so, like, massive like overprotection. We had to learn a way.
Hmm.
And I'm glad it went that way because if not, I'd probably be. I don't know what I'd be. I probably wouldn't be as I guess. I don't know. Maybe as dumb as I am sometimes. You know what I mean? Like sometimes I wish mom would have said, "No, don't do that." Or me going, "Yeah, mom, I should listen to what you say," because mom and dads know what they say. Like they're not stupid. They're not. We go through that, periodically where we think we know more than our parents. And literally, a lot of times we don't. Every once in a while you get lucky and you get a win, but not often. I mean, I'm pretty sure you dealt with that as well, too.
Yeah. Well, talk about being bad. I remember living in Mexico, playing with a candle. You know, it's lit, and I'm just putting my hand over it like a little
Mhm.
pyromaniac. Like, I'm not getting burned. I'm not getting burned. And I hear steps coming upstairs.
Mhm.
So my dumb ass puts the candle under the bed. I'm like, I didn't
Wow.
put it out. I didn't put it out.
You just put it right
I just
into
put it
bed.
under the bed.
Like, was it one of them big, bulky
No,
candles?
just a regular candle. Just
Oh, just a little, like, kind of long and,
yeah.
okay.
So I put it under the bed. It was on a candle stand or something. Do 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 do. A few minutes later, I smell something. My bed's on fire.
Like, flame on fire or
Flame on
smoke?
fire.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, we didn't have to call the fire department, but that bed is gone, or it ended up being gone.
You think? You know what I mean? So what happened next?
Let's just say I got my ass tore up.
Hmm. I bet so.
So I didn't play with a candle under the bed anymore.
So what were you trying to do? Like summon the witches or something? Or what were you trying to play with a candle for? Or you just staring at it?
I just like fire.
You like fire? That's what. So you
You know
were
that
pyro.
meme with that little girl that's standing in front of a house that's burning, and she's like,
Yes, with the eyes and
I'm pretty sure
everything.
that was me.
So you were a pyromaniac.
Oh yeah.
So this wasn't the first instance you burned something down.
No, it was the first time I burned something.
Oh, so you were all about looking at fire, but when it came, you were more safe until that
Yeah.
day.
Yeah, I don't know why I didn't turn it off. I just put it under my bed, like
Well, I think it still would have probably lit though, wouldn't it? You think?
it was lit.
Yeah, but I mean, even though it was, if you would have blew it out and everything, it still would have been warm enough, maybe, to do
No,
something.
no.
No,
No, if it was out, it would not do anything.
it wouldn't do anything.
No, it's not a trick candle that comes back on.
Well, I mean, you never know, man. Maybe your mom was going to see if you're going to do it or not. You know, what I mean, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, that whipping probably was pretty bad. You know what I
But
mean?
yeah, it taught me not to play with fire.
So if you,
Ish.
so you had your box spring, and then you had your mattress, right?
Mm.
So how much did it get burnt?
I think it was just the mattress. I mean, I was 9, so it was like a metal rack, a metal
Mhm.
bed with like, the metal.
Yeah.
The whole thing was metal, and then just a mattress on top.
So like so when you did that, like I can only imagine. So who put it out? Was it the first responder or the second responder? Your mom or whoever?
My mom.
Your mom?
Yeah.
And she was hollering the whole time.
Oh yeah, I was
Um,
like, I'm gonna run away. I can't get out because at that house we actually had not fence, but our house was fenced in, but it was brick.
Brick. Okay.
It was like stone wall up to like the size of the house, so it's not like I could climb it.
Oh, so you were SOL in the first place.
Yeah.
So if you did something wrong, you ain't going nowhere.
Nope.
Oh wow. So we didn't have fences. We just ran. Like you could run all through the neighborhood. You didn't have to worry about a fence because I lived in a poor neighborhood. You know what I mean? Like I don't now, but like there was no fences. Like the only thing you had to worry about is dogs. Dogs were everywhere. Like if I did something stupid, I want to run away from mom and dad. I'm only going to get so far.
Right.
I knew my limitations though. Usually, not all the time. Because I mean, when I was young, I got attacked by a dog. That's why I'm really hesitant about being around dogs.
Yeah, I got attacked by a dog too.
Yeah, I was like 4 or 5.
I wasn't that young.
I was just a little whippersnapper, Eating my Slim Jimmers, I guess. I don't know.
You
But
wanted your food, and you're like,
yeah, well, I was in my room. I'm not in my room. I was in my yard, and the dog came in my yard and jumped on top of me. And pretty much, I didn't know no difference. Hey, doggy, doggy, doggy. You know what I mean? Doggies were coming at me at 100 miles an hour. I'm like, doggy, doggy, doggy. And by the time I realized, he's not being friendly. You know what I mean? Smack onto the ground. I'm like, I remember yelling. I don't remember, but my mom always told me I was yelling and screaming the whole time. Because back then we had a ditch next to our house.
Mhm.
So next to our house, we had these bullfrogs that would come in there. And my objective was to catch a bullfrog at least once a summer. Because these some bitches were fast. Like, they knew when you were around.
Mhm.
They rarely would, like, sit there and, like, creep into the water a little bit or hide out. They would sit there in a wide open. If you went down there, they ran. You wouldn't see them for, like, 2 hours. Go in the house, 20 minutes later, they're back where they were. And you're like, man, I can't get a bullfrog. So that's what I did when I was younger, jump into a ditch that was 8 foot deep, pretty much.
Mhm.
And there was like, usually it would fill up with water sometimes, but not often. So that's what I remember my childhood kind of like, I was, Joe Dirt almost. You
Mhm.
know what I mean? Kind I mean, literally, like, it was kind of a country type, life, and that's where I lived at. So,
Mhm.
I mean, but yeah, I never put nothing up. Well, hold on. I'm pretty sure I put some on fire. I just don't know what it was. Put a lot of
You
stuff
you
out.
put a lot of fires out.
Yes, I have put a lot of fires out, being so it's funny, you're dead asleep, or like, back in the time, being 16, 18, 19, you're just sitting there or watching TV,
Mhm.
like da da da. You hear your back then it was like they called it a plectron, and we didn't have pagers back then. Back in like 90s, maybe the beginning of 2000s.
Mhm.
So you would have a plectron that would make this loud noise to wake you up. Or where I was living, it was literally like a quarter mile away, so I'd hear the siren sometimes. And like it's funny, it's weird and funny because um you get there and you'll be like on the first truck. And being on the first truck, it's usually you're the ones that are going in first,
Mhm.
regardless. And you would sit there and you have these radios that you can hear throughout the truck sometimes. And you can hear what's going on before you get there, because usually you try to get someone there before you.
Yeah.
And like, I'm sitting there, and you hear, um, whatever, report, fire in the kitchen or something. You're thinking, okay, this might be some, BS or something. You don't know. They're probably, it might be just in the oven per se. And then sometimes, like a 1 in the morning, you're trying to get that sleep out of your eyes. You're trying to get your stuff together. You're literally like on like airplane mode per se. You know what I mean? You're just trying to push through it, and then all of a sudden you hear, um, whoever, on scene, fire from Alpha, you know, Bravo, Charlie side, which is three sides of the place. So you know for a fact that you're about to encounter some fire. And being a fire rat, like I was back then, I'll say fire rat. Um, the adrenaline was unreal. Like you went from um, mind you of dopey. Like when you
Okay.
wake up in the morning, you're trying to get yourself ready. You're like, trying to put yourself together.
Yeah.
To like the Roadrunner, like literally like from 0 to 100 in like 1.2 seconds, and like you're just you just feel like this blood rush, and your adrenaline's flowing. And you're just like, man, I'm gonna put this fire out. How I'm gonna do this. Because now in your mind you're thinking, okay, so what is going on here? Is there people in the place? Is there stuff like that? And then you're just adrenaline rushing, and you get there. You have to get one the fire hose off the truck. Two, you have to stretch the fire hose, because usually it's a two-man operation.
Mhm.
Because if you don't stretch a fire hose and they charge it, it's not going to be a good day. It's not going to work well. You know what I mean? Um, and then like on top of that, you're sitting there trying. Okay, well, where am I? You usually have someone leading you, which is usually your captain or lieutenant, and they're like, you put it over here or whatever. And sometimes you don't have that. You just go, and you're like, you gotta make that split decision. Do we go inside or do we stay outside? Do we do an exterior attack or do we do an interior attack? And you have to make that decision on a run. And then all your stuff comes back to you as you're walking up to. I won't say walking. We usually run. So, and with all that gear on you, that's not really a good run. It's kind of like a slow run. But like you encounter so much. It's amazing, like the adrenaline rush you get from that, though. It's probably a better adrenaline rush than anything you can ever imagine. The only issue I would have is when you come down. Is when you come down from that adrenaline rush, you're kind of like completely destroyed. Like you're like, ah, I still got some more stuff I got to do here. Oh, and then you're hoping that you got more people coming, and sometimes it just don't work out
Mhm.
because in this like down south area, they'll always ask for volunteers because it's so limited with people coming in now. People don't want to do anything for free, you know, and that's the biggest thing. Like
Mhm.
you go to a lot of states, it's paid fire departments, um, and it's becoming more of a common what is it called? A combination department, which you have your emergency medical,
Mhm.
and then you have your fire side, and usually they kind of intertwine to a point. So, like, back then we were just a fire department. That we rarely run anything medical. Now the fire station I used to belong to, they kind of run medical, but they don't have an ambulance yet
Yeah.
that I know of. Which I won't be surprised that happens in the next 10 years anyway, because I mean it's just not like a lot of it's rural, like literally like going out to Marydale and like being out back of them roads. That's what you're dealing with. But it's just interesting how everything has grown from there. The fire department itself, and that's something that really people need to look into. Like being younger, man, you can do something as a volunteer fireman and get paid for it somewhere else.
Mhm.
And they work like 24 on, 72 off. Really good hours actually. Most of them, not all of them, work that way. Um, I mean, there's some BS to it, just like anything else.
Yeah.
But overall, I mean, it's not a bad career move for anybody. They can get a lot of stuff out of learning, and you can really retire pretty much at a decent age if you get it in there early.
Hmm.
And I think I don't know if I know you got to do some classes up at the fire school. I don't think you have to do any college classes for it, but you can. You know what I mean? It makes you if you want to go higher,
Right.
and the higher you get, the more money you get if you do paid. If you don't want to be paid, just want to do a volunteer, that's good. And I mean, I commend everyone out there that does it.
Yeah.
There's a ton of them. So I mean, you ever thought about doing it?
I did when I first moved here. I I mean I thought about doing it.
Yeah.
I didn't do it, but I was dating someone who was part of the fire department, and I'm like, I don't want to get up like that because she was on call. So like you said,
Yeah.
2 in the morning,
Hmm.
alarm would go off or pager would go off. I'm like, okay, have fun.
Well, see, that's the thing. Like when I was there,
Well, not fun, but
well, not fun. Yeah. Well, I don't know, man. I mean, it's sad to say it's fun, but I mean, the adrenaline rush is unreal.
hmm
Like to be honest with you, it's a high mark that you don't really experience unless you have something that exciting in your mind going on. Because I mean, I've been to some that like 1, 2 in the morning. It's not a house fire, it's an accident. It's just like, oh my god, it's brutal just
hmm
seeing it. And that's another thing, like, I remember hearing a lot of people like, nurses, which just no knock on nurses, but they'd be like, you don't know what we go through and everything, and you're absolutely right. But when we're at that fire scene, we can picture the everything that happened, and we see what we have in front of you. We patch it up before we get to
hmm
you, and no, like I said, no knock on nurses, but like I feel like they're on the same level because some of the stuff they see on a
Oh
regular
yeah.
basis,
hmm
and sometimes they get the people they deal with, they get patched up before they go there. Sometimes they do what they can do is best. So I mean, it's a rough career. Like you
hmm
got to be mentally um, strong, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Being a nurse as well, but I mean, doing that stuff, as the medical side of the fire department, which is, like I said, it's a combination fire department now. It's not even a fire department; it's like combination department. You got to be mentally strong because there's so much stuff that you encounter that is not like your normal. You see the situation, you can picture the whole scene, you can see what happened, the aftermath, what this is going on, what's going to happen, what possibly could happen. You're trying to patch this person up and get them out there as soon as possible to the hospital.
hmm
And sometimes, s- time is the essence when you do stuff like that. And you don't sometimes have enough time. You
No.
know, it's rough. So, but other than that, how's everything been going with you anyway?
Well,
Besides that,
we did a podcast 2 days ago, so not much has changed.
well, hold on. I do believe everything has changed. You had to put some miles on your car, right?
For what?
Go to work Friday, didn't you?
Yeah. Wait, you didn't work? You worked Friday.
Damn right I
You
worked.
worked Friday. Well, yeah, I worked Friday, but it was it was a good day. Got some stuff done that I needed to
Mm-hmm.
because the end of the month is coming, and just have a few more pieces of equipment that need to be done.
Gotcha. God.
Not complaining.
Well, at least you're not going to complain because I'm going to.
Yeah,
Like,
I know.
like literally, like I walk into a shit show at work, literally, and oh, well, this person ain't going to be here. I'm like, oh my god, really? This is our peak season starting. So, like, it went well, from my understanding, because they would push me out of the door by 6 o'clock. They told me to go home. I was like, I've been here since 8 or 9. Like, it's going to be all right. Because I was going to go in at 6, but they told me not to. So all right, that's fine. I'll go in whenever. So get there, get everything set. I waited for all the detailed emails. I think I sent off like 35.
Hmm.
Just Friday alone. Um, so I'm getting real good at these hand typing things.
You're learning how to
I,
type
I'll be a good administrative assistant one day. You know what I mean?
one
So
day. One
one
day.
day, one day, and it went well. And then like I gotta go in tomorrow, um, from probably 10, I think till 3. Because we got like a whole bunch of shipments coming in and stuff like that. It needs to be, because we have a one big client. Not gonna, say their name, but this big client, like, I guess they decided to go with us, and we have to get everything out on a regular basis from them. If not,
Mm.
it becomes an issue. So we have to keep detailed mentally and physically on each package that comes in for them. And we're not just talking like oh well, we got 20 packages coming in for them. It's massive amount.
Hmm.
I want to say Friday, it was probably counting 36% of our freight by
Mm.
itself.
Damn.
So yeah, so moving up in the world, I guess you want to say if you can, they're just you need to do it this way, this way, this way, this way. I say, all right, we'll do it this way, this way, this way. No, you need it this way. Okay, we'll do it that way. Okay, I'm cool with that, and that's how they're doing it. Which is fine with me, as long as my drivers are okay and they're comfortable, able to make sure everything is delivered for them.
Right.
I'm not going to sit there and go out of the way unless I have to make sure. Okay, well, you said you're going to be there by 8. Why is it 8:20? You're not there. Well, my driver just hasn't been there yet. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Because I do have some drivers that will stay out late, and I have some drivers that are so much against it. It's not even funny. Which I get it. They don't want to. I don't understand why they don't want to work the hours.
Yeah.
But being at someone's house, you got to be smart. After 8 o'clock, you're really risking a little bit. I only usually go like if I was delivering, which I delivered late sometimes. It was stupid. Sometimes I delivered 2 a.m. before, you know, but only like in developments or like in town places is the only place I would really go, after a certain time because you're asking for trouble. You go to someone's farm or something like that. I mean, that's just how it was with us.
Yeah.
You good?
I'm good. I'm good. I wanted to mention something when we were done.
Well, we're never done. We'll always still want to talk. This story never ends. This
No,
episode ends sooner or later,
but
but the story never ends. This is all fun packed. Yeah, you guys might not find it funny. You might not find it humorous. You might not. Other than that, I think we do a decent job for what we do. For people that are not um, internet microphone lit per se,
mm,
um, but I think we do a good job. And I do want to give a shout out to somebody like
okay. Yeah.
that one woman that's been throwing some stuff on our Facebook page, Glenda. Man,
Glenda,
yes,
you are our number one fan.
yes, I have none but love for this woman. I'm like so happy to see she even posts once in a while. I'm like, yes, I mean, we want more interaction from people. We'd like to see more interaction. That's on our Instagram. That's on our Facebook page, our Twitter page
Yeah, we got
as well.
Twitter
We do.
now,
It's just
YouTube.
YouTube. I mean, we're stepping up little by little. We're gonna get where we need to get. Um, None but love for everyone out there that listens to us. 100%. Also, hopefully, I can stop being lazy and literally start using what they call that, the internet, so we can get on that. Going to the plunges that we're supposed to be doing. That's kind of big for both of us, in my opinion.
Hmm.
Um, we haven't got there yet, unfortunately, but I need to get on top of it. If not, I'm going to cuss myself out, or we might just have Glenda arrested us. Who knows? Um, but
But I also want to plug someone here. I know we mentioned them before. Hillhounds Rescue and Animal Sanctuary out of Greensboro, Maryland. Um, they are looking for volunteers. If you are looking for a pet, I mean, I know everybody wants a puppy Christmas time, but there's many pets out there that that are a little bit older that want some love too.
well,
And if you want to get in touch with them, just go to hillhounds.org, and they have all the information you need.
And if you talk to them, tell them Ron John sent you. Okay, let them know, that their message is getting out. You know what I mean? Let them know that we're trying to, this is something that John believes in strongly, and this is something. I mean, I'm familiar with it now. I'm starting
Hmm.
to get familiar with it. I do find dogs are very hard to deal with when they're puppies, and they're cute. Don't well, I don't like cute puppies, but anyway, um, they're cute. But at the same time, like some of these dogs are well maintained
Hmm.
and have well good habits, and they won't cause more problems for your house per se, or wreck up your house, or make your house smell like urine and stuff like that. I mean, granted, puppies are great, but there's so many dogs and cats and animals out there that need to be adopted. And it's unfortunate that there's so many,
Hmm.
because I'm pretty sure that probably, and I could be wrong, but half probably is because the owner just couldn't deal with it no more.
Yeah, I
What's
mean,
that?
some people get puppies and then after a few months, they can't deal with them, or older couples get a dog
Yeah.
that, and they pass,
And that
and
happens
that
sometimes.
happens. You can't knock people for that, but
No.
I mean, animals need love too.
Well, yeah, they do. I think everyone needs love. Everyone needs that hug, and everyone
Yeah.
needs that say, that comfort of, be able to look at somebody and say, they love me. No matter what. The unconditional love out there sometimes is stuff we miss. We don't read it well, or we'll just go by and be like, you know. But I mean, the best thing in life is being able to see somebody or something or someone that don't even have to speak it, but you just know it, and you feel that vibe from them. Like we were doing remote, Thanksgiving, and the different vibe that you get from remote than being next to each other is different. It's totally different because there's no vibe when you're on remote. Like you
Yeah.
don't get the vibe from the other person. Like I can't sit there and say, "Why is John acting that way?" Or "What's John's on his mind?" I kind of, I'm not saying I read his mind, but I can see there might be something on his mind.
Hmm.
And I can act on it instead of going, blah 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 blah. And he's sitting there, I wish this guy would shut up. You know what I mean? I got something to say. You know, it makes it so much easier when you're face to face. So that is a plus, definitely. So I mean, Hills Hounds
Hill Hounds Rescue and Animal Sanctuary
out of Greensboro,
out
correct?
of Greensboro,
Maryland.
Maryland.
Yes, out of Greensboro, Maryland. Definitely, look on the Facebook page.
Hmm.
Like their page as much as we like, sitting there and talking about them. Because I think they're a good place to be. The fact that we're able to talk to them and the fact that they accept that. You know, because some places don't want to be talked about at all for some reason. I don't know why.
Yeah.
But I mean, that is what it is. But as far as I know, I think we're about to wrap this up.
Yeah.
It's been a great show, a little bit different, all over the place, a little bit like usual.
Like usual. Yeah.
Talk about some young stories, talk about some old stories, talk about a little bit of the fire department, talked about, just, if you ever need to reach out to somebody, reach out to them, no matter who they are. I'm pretty sure they'll listen. And if you don't feel comfortable reaching out to someone you can reach out to us at any time. Any final words on that?
Oh, no, just this episode kind of, like you mentioned, it's all over the place. So,
It's okay to be all over the place sometimes.
yeah.
Because sometimes in the episode that we go through, I do have ADHD, we've noticed now. But at the same time, we're talking about real life stories that we experienced
Yeah, and that's
and our
what this
real
podcast
thoughts.
is
Yeah,
about.
it's real talk.
Yeah.
And real talk don't have, I would say, a guideline.
Hmm.
You speak what you got to say. Doesn't mean that people have to agree with you. Doesn't mean that you're right. But it's real talk at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And it's the Real Talk Eastern Shore podcast for a reason. Because when we do it, we're going to do it our way. We're going to talk real talk. And if people don't like it, unfortunately, what can I do? You know what I mean? So, with that being said, it is what it is. And you know what? If we have haters,
So
that
be it.
Well, you just ruined my whole thing.
I do that on purpose.
Yes, I know, because you're not living life right when you do that. So, from me and John here, you have a good evening.
And have a good night.